in the morning with a gig, and you're going down the river, and what are you looking for, and how many turtles would you catch in the morning, and then how would the whole day go?
Well, I start in the morning, and you punch a log, and a log jam, and you had to know the difference between a limb or bubble would come up all the way, whatever you hit, bubble, that would just give outline of it. But you could tell that turtle bubble, because it'd be wider than just a limb or something like that. And you could tell when a turtle would cut out. Sometimes 2 or 3 at a time would cut out. And you followed them. You followed them bubbles up and caught the turtle. And if you lose one, you bunch to pump around on the bottom bump. If you know about where he stopped at, it's hard to try to keep up with that many bubbles, but I have tried to keep up. I have been successful to it.
And you get one. What would happen when you would get one?
I drag him over sides, so his feet, go back at another.
And then how would the day unfold? You have your first turtle, and then what? Tell us what happens. Tell us what you got in your boat, and.
Well, I caught my first turtle, and I just stacked them up near the end of the boat. I'd get to where I wouldn't have about 2 inches or 3 inches clearance on the side, and then I'd have a boat load, and I had to just quit or either put them in shallow water and keep on going and pick them up with a aluminum boat and a motor.
So tell us what kind of boat you fished for what kind of animal with.
I used the P-roll to fish for all the loggerhead turtles, and that's all I was fishing for.
And what kind of boat was it that would fill up with turtles, and how close to the water was that boat? With what kind of animals?
Well, the boat was a 4 foot, near about 4 foot in the middle, and come to a point at both ends. And anyhow, it sat on the bottom. It was awful rocky. It was worse than trying to ride a bicycle. But if you mastered it, you could near about walk the edge of it when you done enough of it, you know. And I never did have no trouble. Never have fell out of one. You had to put it over logs and things like that. When you come to a log or something, you couldn't.
What happened with what kind of boat when you filled it up with turtles?
Well, when you filled it up, if you knew what you're doing, wasn't nothing happening. You'd have to put the turtle in shallow water, because you never have but one boat. And it was always the turtle catching boat, which was the P-roll. I had aluminum boat to go back and pick them up sometime. When I get too many, I'd have to leave some of them staked out in shallow water.
How many of what kind of animals could you catch in a day, and how big were these animals?
I could catch up to 20, and they run from 35 pounds to 150 or 60 pounds.
150 pound, what kind of animal again? 150 pound what?
Loggerhead or alligator snapping turtle.
Right. What I'm trying to do when I'm asking these questions, I'm trying to get you to, instead of me just asking questions with the response, I'm trying to get you, like for example, when I say what kind of boat, I'm trying to get you to talk about that you had a P-row and that you filled it up with loggerheads and that they were the such and such a size. Because I'm going to leave my questions out. You follow me? Whenever I edit this, I'll leave my questions out, and then it'll just be your information.
Well, it's hard to explain, but you catch whatever turtle you come to. In other words, if it's 30 pounds, you get 30 pounds. If the next one's 70 pounds, you get a 70. For the other's 100 pounds, you get 100. And you don't go by, there's no way to go by what you don't know what you're going to catch till you catch it. And at the end of the day, you wind up, you know what you caught. And you don't weigh them, I guess, the weight, but my business was to catch him and get him, tie his feet, and when I get so many, I couldn't haul them in that P-row, which is the only boat I caught them with. You could get around in it, you could turn in it, you could turn the boat quick, you could maneuver it better than you could a aluminum boat with a paddle now. That's with a paddle now. And anyhow, you just went about your day's business that way. And if you caught one, you haul, like I tell you, you could leave them in shallow water, and if their feet tied, they can't go nowhere. And you can come back and get them with a aluminum boat with a motor. And I've done that plenty of times.
Tell us about the biggest kind of animal that you caught doing this stuff. What kind of animal was it? How big was it?
Well, I caught a big alligator, if you're talking about that now. Well, he was about 10 foot long. His hide was 10 foot. I sold his hide for $1 a foot. I mean, $10 a foot. And his hide was a 10-foot hide. He wasn't quite that long, but your hide is a little bit longer than the alligator is when you get it off. It stretches some. And they buy it by the length of the hide, and it stretches.
Is it okay? No. It's fine. On an average day, how many of what kind of animals would you catch?
On an average day, 10 or 12 of the alligator snapping turtles.
And how big were they?
Well, they run from 30 to 150, 60 pounds, like that. Just,
Tell me about what happened when you went to Steel Bayou.
well, on Steel Bayou, that was a good place to catch turtle. You had a lot of deep water. You had some water that was too deep. But on the average, I'd catch, and in 3 days, I'd catch a pickup load of them. I don't know what it meant.
How many would a pickup truck be? Tell me about a pickup truck load of turtles.
No, you're talking about 25 to 30. 25 to 30.
Tell me about the biggest one you encountered at Steel Bayou. Tell me what kind of turtle that was.
It was an alligator snapping turtle, and didn't weigh one. It would have weighed 180 or 185 pounds. I didn't weigh it. It was a turtle by itself individual. But he was as wide as the back of a aluminum boat, which I had an aluminum boat in Steel Bayou because I used a motor on it.
Tell me about a bad day catching turtles. And you can call them loggerheads. That's fine. Loggerheads is good. Tell me about a bad day catching them. How many would a bad day be?
4 or 5.
A bad day would be
4 or 5 loggerhead turtles.
Tell me what kind of animal you think you caught in a year.
No, I ain't got no way of answering that. So you got
probably more than 1,000, huh?
Yeah, I caught more than 1,000 a year.
And the average you catch in a day was how much?
Average about 10, 11.
Did you ever see any nesting, laying eggs?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see?
Well, they dig a hole and lay their eggs, and then cover up the hole. They put a little water mud, right, and then turn around one at a time or two. But when they come out, you can see where a peg would be moved.
What happened over in Mobile? What did you find in Mobile?
Uh, I didn't never turtle fish in Mobile.
But you looked for glass bottles, right?
Oh yeah.
What'd you find in Mobile?
Oh, I found bottles in one of the first dumps that they ever had in Mobile, and I even rented the backhoe to dig them with, and I made more money doing that, I reckon, than I did on the turtle. I could dig a 2-ton truckload in a day, boxed up in boxes. And they'd be all kind of assorted boxes, all kind of, they was all old, 100 years old or older. And there's pop bottle and bitter bottle and flask and stuff like that.
What made them so pretty?
Well, they're different in the color and the shape and all. A lot of them were figure bottles, a lot of them were blue bottles, amber and clear and amethyst. They were just all colors of bottle. An old bottle is prettier than a new bottle anyhow. It's made out of prettier glass.
What was in the glass that made it pretty?
Oh, magnesium made one turn purple. And olive glass, you had to go back to, I don't know what called olive, but a dark olive and then black glass. I got black glass bottles in the house right now. And amethyst.
Tell me, how far away from your home would you travel to catch what kind of animal?
I've been 200 miles several times, but I didn't have as good luck as I would around here, because I know the country around here. You where all the dead lakes were and everything.
Tell me about Leatherberry Slough. What did you find at Leatherberry Slough?
That was a good place there.
What place was it? Tell me about it.
It was just
What was the name of it?
Leatherberry Slough, and it was down at Merrill, just before you get to Merrill, Mississippi. And it used to be a little town, ghost town there, and it was a sawmill town. And Leatherberry Slough, they kept logs in there for the sawmill. And then the mills all cut out, they were steam mills. And this slough was still there. And like it took it longer here, it took it over. And I had a ball when I first found it till I got them caught down. I mean, that's some places I could catch a 20 or so in a day, you know.
How many days did that place last? Tell me about the place.
Oh, it didn't last but about a month, and I had it where I was down to 4 or 5 turtles a day. And I changed, went over in Alabama. I don't know what the name of the lake was, but it was on, I forget the name of it even now, the stream. We talk about things that would happen a long time ago, and I'm getting old and I get forgetful on a lot of it. I mean, can't help it, I can't remember all the names and all.
It's okay. I got a lot of it written down right here. What was the name of the creek where you started, and what did you start doing, and what kind of animal were you looking for?
Tallahassee. I started on Tallahassee right here at home. And I caught more turtles out of Tallahassee, I reckon, than any place I ever went turtle fishing. It was about 50 miles long. And they were turtles from beginning to the end of it. So when I'd fish one stretch out, and a stretch now, I call it a stretch between one bridge into another bridge. But I'd catch turtles out of one stretch, and then I'd move to the next stretch. And then from that stretch, I'd go on to another.